So your neighbor backed into your mailbox and knocked it down. And now he refuses to turn it into his insurance or pay for it. And he says, what are you going to do? Well, in just a moment, I'll have an answer for you. Hi, my name is Tony DeWitt. I'm a Missouri attorney, and my job here on YouTube is to explain things. The issue today is, what do you do when you have a small claim, just a little tiny thing that you don't really have a great deal of money invested in, but you really feel like you need to be made whole? Well, what follows is an explanation. It is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, you have to see an attorney in your jurisdiction. The cost to replace a mailbox, about $300, which is not chicken feed, is not small, but by the same token, it isn't enough to hire a lawyer, because whoever said talk was cheap never hired a lawyer. The Laffey Matrix, which is something that you should check out, it's on the web, laffeymatrix.com, is a publication of the United States District Court for the District of Washington, D.C., and it publishes the rates that lawyers are allowed to bill in that court and considered to be reasonable. A lawyer with more than 20 years experience, like me, can bill up to $914 an hour. Now that ought to scare you. But there is a way around it for these small claims. Small claims can be litigated in small claims court. For these small claims, you don't have to pay a lawyer. You can do it all yourself. In fact, it's pretty easy, and the clerks in the courtroom are there to help you get the paperwork filed. Now, the emphasis is on fixing the problem, not on technical legal issues. So the judge tends to consider evidence much more broadly than he would in a case where lawyers were trying the case. The technical legal rules of evidence don't always apply. So how do you do this? Well, the first thing you do is you go to small claims court and watch the proceedings. You can call your county court or your county district court or circuit court, whichever it is, and find out when small claims court is held. Then go down there and watch a small claims court case. Watch how the judge works with the individuals to get the story out. Usually you'll find he doesn't make a ruling on the day that the case is heard. Usually he sends a ruling to the parties later on. He does that so there's no dust-up in the courtroom. And yes, people do have dust-ups in the courtroom. It happens all the time. It's rather sad, but that is what happens in small claims court, even when there are no results given. Sometimes people just get ugly. Every state, every district has a small claims court. You just have to find it. And usually if you go to your state court's website and search for small claims court, you can find all kinds of help in this regard. Now, the clerk's there to help you get the paperwork filled out, but she can't give you legal advice. What you can do is take your filing fee, which will usually be between $10 and $100, and once she has that filing fee, she will put your case on file, which is the first step toward getting justice. The second step is to have that case served on the defendant. Now, here's the tricky part. Let's suppose that you're suing Acme Corporation. Maybe the Wile E. Coyote suit that you bought didn't fit. You're suing Wile E. Coyote Corporation. Well, if you have to sue them, you have to find out, first of all, what their legal name is, and then you have to find out who their registered agent for service of process is. Every company that is incorporated, whether it be an LLC or a S corporation, a limited partnership, or whether it's just Joe Blow doing business as Wile E. Coyote Corporation, either way, any of those things has to have on file with either your Corporation Commission or your Secretary of State what's called a DBA, or they have to have filed paperwork to create their corporation, and that corporation paperwork will have the information about who their registered agent for service of process is. That's important because you just can't go serve the sales clerk. The sheriff can't walk in and hand them the piece of paper. Instead, what they have to do is they have to serve the registered agent for service of process. Here's an example of what the Secretary of State's office does in Missouri. They have a place where you can go online and search for a particular corporation. In this case, we're going to search for Evernorth Corporation. So we type in the name, and we go down there and we click select, and we'll get a list of different corporations. And from all of those different things that are named Evernorth, we pick the one we think we want. We click open, and we can either look at the information on the right to see if that's the information we need, which it isn't, or we can click download. And when we click download, that will give us a document that we can then download onto our hard drive and examine. And when we open up that document, this is what we see. The information from the state of Missouri, which down there shows the name and physical address of the registered agent for the service of process. In this case, it's a company called CT Corporation in Clayton, Missouri. So that's where we would send the sheriff. On the date of your court appearance, the first thing you do is you go into court, and you should be dressed nicely. You should be dressed like you're going to church. Go into court and you tell your side of the story. The other person gets up. He doesn't need a lawyer either, and they get to tell their side of the story. Now, a lot of times, corporations or businesses will be represented by an attorney, but he has no greater rights than you do in that courtroom. He may know the judge, but he still has no greater rights, and he still can't present any more evidence than you can present. Nor will his technical legal objections matter, because the rules of evidence don't apply in small claims court. Now, you're going to have the burden of proof, but the burden of proof in small claims court is just more likely than not. In other words, it's a 50% scale, so if you just tip the scales a little bit, you win. That's how small claims court works. Here's the key. You have to be respectful. It's your honor. It's not yeah or no. It's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, your honor, no, your honor. You want to be respectful because you want the court to understand that you're there, you're a legitimate victim, and you have something that you need to get made whole for. And that's the purpose of small claims court, to make you whole for small claims that would otherwise require a lawyer. Well, that's the long and the short of small claims court. And I hope that you found this presentation interesting and useful. If you have, please take a moment to touch the like and subscribe buttons down below. And if you would, click the notification bell. You'll get notified every time I make a new video. Thank you for watching, and have a terrific day.